You ready?
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for joining me, Jack Pilgrim. If you do not know Jack, he's basically the Adam Schefter of UK basketball when it comes to recruits. If a player has an injury, draft picks, he just knows everything before anyone. So whenever I need my information, you're definitely the go-to, Jack. And for these upcoming 3 months would have been your busiest 3 months in the entire basketball season. You had every single weekend planned out. Walk me through what was going through your head when you were in Nashville for the SEC tournament and you found out basketball's over for this year.
So as we're walking up the stairs, we get that text message that says NCAA tournament is canceled. And then right after that, like the McDonald's All-American game was canceled. The Jordan Brand Classic was canceled. It was like this 3-hour span where everything that I covered and this, like I told you, these next 3 months, I had every single weekend booked for traveling to the SEC tournament, NCAA tournament, Jordan Brand Classic, McDonald's All-American. Recruiting events were going to start coming up with the EYBL and all that stuff. So I had these next 3 months going into the summer where like every weekend was filled. And then it went from 100% packed to zero. I have nothing, zero events to go to and all that. So it's kind of been more about just staying busy and not being bored to death more than anything.
And as a young professional too, you write for KSR and you have your own podcast. How has it been challenging just to like come up with different content or even just like expand your storytelling? How have you been able to find new stories or even just deliver content week to week for those different platforms you work for?
So KSR has always been kind of known as, to the traditional journalist, not the most traditional journalism, outlet. So we've always kind of had a little bit more of a longer leash with creativity and kind of having a little, some wacky ideas and kind of just, off the cuff, like, you know what? I don't know if this is going to work, but we might as well try it because so we already kind of built our platform up for times like this where we need to be super creative and be about as ridiculous as possible. So I think as soon as all this news broke, our bosses kind of put their heads together and said, all right, this is where we need to be as creative as we've ever been. This is where we need to put out stories that there's that Tiger King show on Netflix right now. One of our best writers put out a ranking of all the best characters on the show. Just random stuff like that, just to stay in the news, stay in the headlines, keep people interested in our site.
So where do you see maybe the next couple weeks with your stories coming up with content for that? I know that Calipari said 5 players have declared, which is not too hard to pick. So we think Ashton, Tyrese, Emmanuel, Nick, EJ.
There you go. That should be the 5. Look at you.
You're the
need to be doing
insider.
this. You need to be doing this. We don't know if the NBA draft's going to be moved or whatever. So we just got to take it one day at a time and just kind of take the content as we can get it, and hopefully there is an NBA draft, because that would be definitely good for us
Content-wise, exactly. And it'd be fun to go because I'm assuming you might be traveling.
Am I traveling? I don't know.
Good
There
question.
is,
Actually, good question.
yeah.
No one knows. No one knows.
If there is, and they let us travel by then, of course. I feel like what's funny is I think after all of this stuff dies down a little bit, all of the sporting events that all of us kind of took for granted. Like I like baseball, but I don't watch every single game. I'm a Red Sox fan. I'll probably watch one. I probably watch one a week, maybe something along those lines. But I bet as soon as it comes back, everybody's going to want to cover every single event possible. So all the people that never cover the NBA draft, they kind of watch it from home. They're like, I'm getting credentialed to that. Like I'm going. This is going to be the first event we could go to. So it's going to be very interesting to see.
Question to wrap it all up. First thing post quarantine you'll be doing.
Oh, I will be. Whatever sporting event it is, whatever it is, I'm going to be sitting on my couch and I'm going to watch it from the second I wake up till the time I go to bed, because it has been just like sports is my life 100%. Like I wake up, Have turn Sports Center on. If there's random stuff during the day, I'll have it on in the background while I'm working, highlights, whatever. And then the night, if it's an NBA game, I don't care what it is, I'm watching it. Like that's always who I've been. So the second we get that back, I promise you that is going to be 100% my biggest thing. I'm just excited to be if it's a recruiting event I go to, I'm excited to be around those people again and talk to coaches again, talk to players, talk to recruits. It's one thing to do it on the phone, one thing to do all these interviews. I interviewed Devin Askew, future Kentucky Wildcat, yes, but I want to be in there. I want to be up in the in the environment and have fun with it instead of just kind of sitting at home and taking my daily walk outside, shoot some hoops in the backyard. Like that's my sports for the day, is going to the backyard, shooting some hoops. So I'm very excited for that to come back.
Backyard basketball.
That's it. We can televise that for all I care. Shoot.
So post-quarantine, you will still be in your house on the couch, but you'll be watching sports all day.
I'll still be out. You know what? I might go out to a KS bar or a Buffalo Wild Wings, something to where I can at least be around people, celebrate with people, have a drink with people. Yeah, and while I'm still getting my sports fix for sure.
Okay, and plug your podcast.
The Sources Say podcast. Sources Say podcast. It's a recruiting, NBA draft updates, what the team's looking like, interviews with coaches. It's Kentucky basketball specific, but we talk about a good bit of everything. So the Sources Say podcast. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the major ones that you can find it out there.
And basically every single 5-star high school basketball player you talk about on there.
Pretty much. We try to get them on, if we can't get them interviewed, we at least talk about them up and down for sure.
So this was Jack Pilgrim, soon to be Adam Schefter in his ongoing career.
Let's hope.
Fingers crossed, both of us.
No, let's do it.
Hit the dab for me. Oh, I'm starting off the interview with that.